There's a whole lot of pressure on this Duke team, and I'm wondering, can you quantify the pressure put on them? Can you look back at maybe the Fab Five with the Michigan freshmen, and that was early in your career as well, that those kids as freshmen, they made it to the title game back-to-back years. They didn't win, but just the amount of pressure where you're expected to win, you're expected to be great. How do you think this Duke team handles that amount of pressure? And is it similar, do you think, to the Fab Five?
Well, it is similar, and it's similar in the sense the Fab Five were freshmen. I think the Fab Five's first year, they weren't picked to be the favorites. I don't think anyone expected them that first year when we ultimately played them in Minnesota. They upset some teams. They beat a very good Ohio State team in the regional. No one saw that happening. I think this Duke team, from the time that they beat Kentucky in the preseason back in November, everyone has had this expectation on them to be the eventual champion. And so it's a little bit different in that regard. Obviously, the next year when Michigan and the Fab Five came back, I think the expectations were great, and they certainly got back there. But to be so young and to not have that 1 year of experience under their belt and to have everyone assume that they'll get there is a lot. But these kids have handled it well. Obviously, Coach K has, I think, insulated them and prepared them. And you just think about this season. I mean, they've had some signature road wins. They've had buzzer beaters. They've had adversity. They've been through a lot. And all of those experiences, including those losses, I think have helped them and put them in a nice, position now that they have a chance, a realistic chance of winning the whole thing.
When's the last time you picked somebody else other than Duke to win the title? And did you hear from Coach K?
So just so you know, when I do my brackets, I always pick Duke to win.
Okay.
So every 5 years or so, I look good. And
and you're picking them this year?
Yeah,
okay.
Of course.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
And
I haven't heard from Coach K. He hasn't called me. But I'll see him in Columbia, so I'm excited about that.
All right. Has he ever given you grief on your analysis of Duke?
Oh, all the time. Yeah. And you have to understand, look, Coach K, we have a great relationship, and obviously I'm grateful that 25 years later, after I graduated, my coach is still there. And so you talk about tremendous connectivity to the program and to him, and that's awesome. But there's still a part of me that feels like I'm 18 years old and I'm in trouble when I'm in his presence. I don't know if that ever changes.
Okay, but wait, be honest. How often did you get yelled at, and how often did Leitner get yelled at in practice?
Well, part of the problem was I was getting yelled at by both of them. So, I mean, we got yelled at. I mean, it was obviously in '92. Look, I'll say this: Coach K. What I respected about him was that he was hardest on his best players, and a lot of coaches will coddle their best players and sort of have whipping boys who are on the bench who are more in reserve roles, but he went at Leitner hard. Not all the time, but he went at him hard. He went at me hard. And, that's what you want. You want to be coached. You want to improve. You want to get better. And he did it like my senior year. My senior year, we lose in the ACC tournament before the NCAA tournament. And we lost in the game to Virginia that we probably should have won. And, he went at me. He went at me after the game and even when we met in his hotel room. And so he held you accountable. He pushed you. And you didn't always understand it maybe when you were a teenager, but you certainly now, as you look back, you appreciate it, and you're grateful for that.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.